Welcome back, Retro Heads. It's the console time machine where we go back, and today we have slipped back into our favourite pair of slippers from the early 2000s, which is TOCA Race Driver 3. What a fantastic game this was. And as you can see, I'm working my way through, getting all the first place medals. You can see the tiers we've done so far, all been recorded, all fantastic. I love the variation in this game, but I got to admit that these little buggy things, these little Baja racers, have given me some problems. So I'm going back into this one. It's not the first time I've tried it, because I did quit out a few times, but it's the first time I'm sharing the recording. So see what you think. I think these things are great. If it's your first time here, make sure you sub, because that's the sort of stuff that makes the hair on my arms go all whiffly and my toes tingle. And I really enjoy it, to be fair. Don't know, maybe there's something wrong with me. But yeah, have a watch of this. I'm not going to talk all the way through, but I will dip in and out of the commentary just to share my feelings, thoughts, what's going through my mind, and some of my frustrations with the brutal AI in this game. But I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. So enjoy, and I will talk to you again in a short while.
Nice driving there. Keep going, son. It's the last lap. On your tail, step on it. Here we go.
Yeah, as you can see, I didn't really think 6th place was gonna cut it on that one. I did my best. I am finding these really, really tricky, but I don't have to win both races. You know, remember that I just have to, whoa, he's upside down. I just have to win overall. So as long as I win the championship, you know, a 2nd place and a 3rd place, or 1st place and a 3rd place might even do it. So I've got to keep that in mind as well. So yeah, I gave this another attempt, and it was another one of those bouncy types of drives. And I must admit, I'm really impressed with the jumps and the dust and, you know, the behavior of the other cars. I think it's coming down to me and just being able to control these things on this surface. But that's what gives this game such a diverse audience, and that is what one of the things that was in its, you know, to its credit, is that you've got this massive, vast sort of range of cars and tracks to try, and they do all handle, and the tracks do all behave, you know, really, really differently with all these different surfaces, and that's what I remember enjoying the first time around. So yeah, let's see how I get on this time. Also, I love the way the game sounds. You know, they've paid quite good attention to detail, getting bits of gravel and debris and dirt sort of coming up, and you know, you get that sense that it is hitting the underside of the metal chassis, and you can just sort of hear it pinging off the tin. So yeah, hats off to them for that too. So that was a bit of a shame. I thought I was going to have a podium there on that last corner. I could have done had I kept my momentum going and actually taken the corner and not just ploughed into the back of the car in front. But I figured 4th place was okay, and if I could get a 1st place in this one, I could probably win. I didn't really do any maths behind it. I just thought, you know, I want to get through it as quickly as possible, and I don't want to retry anything unless it's absolutely necessary. But as you can see, this track is a bit crazy. So yeah, let's enjoy this one.
Now that's what I call grapevine. This is meant to be a non-contact sport. Position, you are assured of a podium finish. Just keep going. Car's not going to take too much more of that. Drivers to pass now, keep going. Alright, you're into the next championship. Come on in and we'll see what's next.
So a bit of a shame, only got a silver in that one. I will be coming back to it, but I wanted to have a little bit of a break, if I'm honest, and come back to them and maybe take advantage of the qualifying. If they're going to be that tough, I shouldn't start at the back. I should qualify, get myself nearer the front or at the front, and then give myself the best chance of success. So I dipped back into these little formulas, and I love these little things. They're like little insects, little spiders just sat on the track with their arms all extended. But they handle really nicely once you get to grips with them. You do have to sort of be a bit tame coming out of the corner, but they're pretty grippy, to be honest, but they can just lose it, and once they tend to lose it, you know, they tend to lose it. But I really like these, and they're only quick races, but I decided to give myself the best chance of winning and going into the quali. So you'll see I just did one lap of qualifying and then just sort of let the chips land where they may, really. If I was happy that it was a half decent time, I just quit out and hoped that I was near the front. But I didn't find these too bad, and hopefully you'll enjoy the close racing as well.
Lightweight and extremely delicate, the Formula 4s are a great preliminary championship for drivers who want to specialise in open wheel racing. We can win this thing if we keep it together.
So easy peasy lemon squeezy. Qualified in first place, got to the front of the grid first place, and then I could just sort of focus on my laps. You can see by the little red arrow behind that the guy was never too far away, but I did manage to have some really clean races. And I do quite like this track. I've raced this track in iRacing over the last year or so, so I was a little bit familiar with the layout, which really helped. I think the first time I played this game, when it was new, back sort of 25 odd years ago, I didn't even know this was a real track, but you know, other than the sort of UK names like Brands and Silverstone that I'd recognise, a lot of these more obscure tracks from around the world, I wasn't really into world racing. I was more into sort of British touring cars and stuff, so I really only recognised the UK tracks. But yeah, still thoroughly enjoying it, and hopefully this championship will be over nice and quickly.
Catch you. Keep on the pace. Final lap. They're way out in front. Just keep going. Out in front and leading the pack. Keep going, son. You made it look easy. Great drive. Your tyres are now at the optimum temperature. Last chance for overtaking. It's the final lap. Alright, you're happy where you are, but don't get complacent.
Again, first place, another 20 points, and I'm sitting pretty at the top of the leaderboard now, so just this last one to get through. I'll do the qualifying and then we'll get into the race and we'll see where we finish.
Tyre temp's perfect. Keep it there. Showed great overtaking there. You're on your final lap. Keep to the track. Going off for that makes your tyres cold.
So not my best work really, and finishing in 7th place was a bit of a gamble. I figured that with 2 first places and a 7th, I might get the top spot, and there you go. We were tied for the top, and if you're tied, it does give you the gold medal. So we can knock that one on the head and move on. Now, you can see that this silver here is really starting to niggle me. So I turned on qualifying and I went back in with a fresh approach and thought with a little bit of focus, hopefully we can get this one completed as well. And what do you know? Qualified in P1. So all I've got to do now is hold on to first place.
Okay, we need a good drive to stay in the running.
Yeah, so let's see how that pans out. So not the greatest start. As you can see, I just have real problems sort of, maybe it's throttle finesse, maybe it's just controlling it off the bounce, but sometimes it just feels really random. When you go over these little jumps and bumps, the landing sometimes just kicks you sideways. I don't know if it's because I'm not jumping straight or not landing straight, or I'm going too fast or not going fast enough, but it's challenging. It's challenging, I've got to say it. And you know, having started in first place, it feels like first and second are getting away from me now. But I'm quite pleased to say I just nipped up the inside of that guy, and first place is now in my sights. But I'm hoping that, again, you know, it's average finishes, so if I can get a second and a first, or a first and a third, perhaps I'll sort of squeeze into the top spot. So let's just see how it all pans out.
It's your last lap. Come on, just this car to beat for first place. Keep focused and keep the pressure on.
So yeah, done on race 1, happy with a second place, and I think that I found the other track a little bit easier to get around. I think perhaps because only part of it was on the dirt, I felt a bit more comfortable with my confidence, thinking that I could get a first place here. So I knew that with a first and a second, the worst that could happen is that I'd be tied for the lead, because the other car would have got a second and a first. And as you know, when you're tied, it gives you the medal. So yeah, let's get into quali and see where we end up and go for that podium finish. Wow, that is some super close times. I don't know if you had time to look at that, but it was 0.03 between me and second place. But we're starting in first, which is great. All we've got to do is maintain it. But I said that last time, so not the greatest start. Let's see how the rest of the race goes.
Nice driving there.
Now this race is really where the AI and where Codemasters are showing their mettle. It is like, it's challenging enough to keep you on your toes, and this guy in second place is certainly no slouch, but it's also controllable and doable, and you feel like if you make a mistake, you pay for it, but it's your mistake, and I think that's really satisfying. You don't feel like you're getting stitched up by the AI driving into you or being particularly overpowered, but you do feel like you have to do well, and if you're gonna win it, then it's because you've deserved it. So at the moment I am managing to hold on to that top spot.
Final lap, just stay ahead.
So over the line in first place for the last lap, let's see what we can do. And what was I saying about the stakes? It does make you pay. That guy is right up my chuff, so I've got to keep on my toes now, because I know that any mistake on my part is going to result in me losing that first place. And it's been wheel-to-wheel stuff. I think I've managed to get around him, but no, he's bumped me out. But I've got the apex on this one. All I've got to do is hold it together for the last couple of corners, and we are home free, and we're going to secure that first place. We've got this sharp left-hander coming up, which has given me a few bits of problems in the past. And I know there's a way of cutting this bit of grass without getting penalised, but I bounced around a little bit and he managed to get me. And then third place comes in and says, "Pow! Get back into fourth place, you." So unfortunately for me, I took the gamble, it didn't pay off, and a restart was needed, but now I'm super focused.
Final lap, just stay ahead now.
So it was another fun race, still some trading of places here and there, but did manage to secure it on the last lap and get ourselves that first place. So we know we've got a gold medal here, and now it's just a choice of where do we go next? So the logical next choice, if we're doing them in order, is these big monster trucks. Now, I don't remember these the first time round in terms of whether they were easy or difficult, but it only took me a few seconds of driving them to remember, and it all came flooding back like some PTSD from the past. They are an absolute nightmare. I didn't expect them to be easy, but I didn't expect them to be completely impossible. But you'll see by just the first couple of corners is that they're just an absolute handful, and I just could not get my hand around my head around what sort of hand-eye coordination I needed to keep the damn things in a straight line, particularly over the bumps. And it's that same annoying track that we had trouble with in the little Baja buggies. But I wanted to give myself the best chance of at least trying to get a gold, so I decided to go into the qualifying. And yeah, as you can see, I was struggling from the get-go. But let's see where we end up after the qualifying lap and go from there. Now, to be fair to myself, I did manage to sort of get to grips with them a little bit, and I didn't think that most of that lap was too bad. And I, maybe a bit naively, thought that first place was within my grasp at that point. But yeah, as you can see, I only just scraped into fourth. Now, whilst fourth isn't too bad, you need to remember that in this race, there's only actually 6 vehicles. So, whoa, that's a huge wheelie. I didn't realise that was going to happen, and it didn't do me any favours. Whilst it might have looked pretty cool, it did lose me a place. And it was really downhill from here. I mean, again, it's almost like the track is a bit too bumpy, so you can't quite get comfortable because you never know what's quite going to happen. The wheels get caught up like that, which is an absolute nightmare. The other cars, I think, are just sort of a little bit on rails, where they're going to just race their race regardless of where you are. The other problem is the track is really, really narrow. So if you're behind, there aren't that many opportunities to overtake, and there certainly aren't many chances to get past without getting your wheels tangled with the wheels of the AI. And for some reason, it seems to slow you down quite a lot without actually affecting them too much. But as you can see, I'm fighting to get my 4th place back, which I did do, and it is a 3-lap race, not a 2-lap race, so there's a little bit more time for me to make some progress. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so now by this point things have got really untidy. You can see I'm bouncing off the walls. The guy behind me is catching up. I can't seem to get the bloody thing in a straight line, and you know, I've literally got no confidence that I'm going to catch up these guys in the top 3 spots at all. And the more I overdrive, the worse it seems to get. But luckily for me, they're relatively short laps. And I think maybe I just need to get lucky for a couple of corners. If I could just stay in a straight line for more than about 3 seconds, it would be fantastic, but it seems to be too much of an ask. So I'm going to do my best and see what happens at the end, and then we'll decide where to go from there.
Fantastic driving there. Stay up with the main pack.
And yeah, didn't really make any progress at all. I mean, I got a run on that last corner again like I did in the buggies, but I couldn't make that extra bit of speed going into the last straight count for anything. Old grumpy man is not very pleased. I decided to retire from this championship and see what else was on the agenda. And yeah, the next cars might surprise you. Now, these 1930s race cars were really, really good fun. Obviously, they're a bit of a handful. They're quite powerful, to be fair, and they don't, they got these little bicycle wheel looking tires, and you can tell they're not gonna handle great. But again, hats off to the game. It does a really good job of making the game, the game forces you to get used to these different types of cars, and it really does differentiate between, the different styles of driving. And I had one little look at the tracks on this, and I thought, I'm all right at these tracks. I know the tracks, and if I can handle the cars, and if they're anything like the formulas, it won't be as bad as these stupid monster trucks. So I just went straight in, hell for leather, and thought, yeah, let's get these 3 completed, and let's tick this championship off the list. But as you can see, I didn't really take into account that these things don't really have any brakes, or if they do, they're probably like little milk bottle tops underneath the wheels. And yeah, that's not the greatest start, but it does give us a little bit of a insight into the attention to detail, perhaps, of the damage model of the game. So can I pretend that I did it just for that reason? Yeah, I think I will. Anyway, it starts us mid-pack, which is great, and we're off for attempt number 2. I think I got a bit lucky there that the wheels didn't come off again, but as you can see, I'm managing to barrel my way towards the front, and it's a nice long race. I feel like I've got the pace. It's a 5-lap race, and if I can outbrake people once or twice on a couple of corners just like that, it's going to be an easy ride to the finish. And as you can see, I'm not even at the end of lap 1, and I've already managed to secure first place. So it was a pretty uneventful rest of the race, if I'm honest. I managed to secure my first place position and get to the end without too much drama, as you can see. So I fast forwarded a little bit just to get us towards the end of the race, and then we'll be on to the next one. I do have to jump back into the commentary though and just comment on that 4-wheel drift going around one of those last corners. You can see and you can hear the tyres screaming, and at the time feathering that on the Xbox controller was an absolute dream. I do also have a little bit of news. I have invested in a steering wheel for the Xbox One. It should be turning up any day. So the next time I do some TOCA racing, it's going to be on a steering wheel. So that's going to be even more intense. I'm going to be doing it on the inside view. I'm going to have all the assists turned off as I have now. And it's going to go one way or the other, guys. It's going to either be so good that I won't be able to put the game down, or it's going to be so challenging I'm going to regret the decision. I'm going to pop it into the cupboard and I'm going to get back on the hand control. So stay with me if you want to find out which way that goes. But as you can see, we are at the finish line. Race 1 is under our belt and we've got a first place.
So stay here.
Here we are on the grid of race number 2, starting us in P7, and right from the off, this is Oschersleben. This is a track that we did in the formulas that I commented on that I knew from iRacing as well. So straight into T1, just no regard for human life or AI or AI cars. We are just barreling in. Not the greatest start, but I did manage to recover. And I've got to say, that peel out of that little bit of grass there did look and feel quite nice. Love the little effects that you get, you know, the way that the grass was on the tyres there. And in some of the other cars, you actually see the brake discs glowing as well. And I think that's a really nice touch from a game that's, you know, let's be honest, is 25 years old. Anyway, back to the race. You can see that I recovered and I'm back picking up places left, right and centre. So, you know, it wasn't the greatest start, but we're back up into P3 after that little overtake there. So I'm pretty confident that I can hold it together and win this one reasonably easily. Don't want to be too much of a trumpet blower there, but I think I can win this one.
Second is great, but first is even better. Come on!
Now I know I said I didn't want to be too much of a trumpet blower, but as you can see, I took that guy on the apex and never looked back. So I fast forwarded to lap 4 and that's going to be another podium finish. And I think I was mistaken. I think I said a minute ago that there were 3 races in this one, but it is actually 2 if I remember rightly. So 2 P1s is going to get us a gold, and I'm setting lap records up the wazoo. It is absolutely crazy and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy the rest of this race too. And when this one gets to the end, I just wanted to include this last lap because there's some really, really cool cornering and the way the smoke comes off the tyres, and you know, you can really get these things drifting a little bit. I just wanted to really showcase it. And this is actually one of my favorite tracks in the game. I don't know, the AI doesn't seem particularly quick here in the cars that we've got to so far, but you know, we'll have a look in a minute at the tiers of the challenges in this game. And I think, you know, we're up to like maybe tier 6. And if I remember rightly, there's about 29 tiers. And obviously the races get a lot longer. The racing gets very, very much more difficult, but also the need to qualify becomes more. And there's actually even some races where you have to use the pits. I mean, one of the last races I did in the last video were in trucks where they're doing sort of oval racing and you have a mandatory pit stop. So there's that to take into account. I'm sure that will come into effect later on as well. But as you can see, we have done this one. We have got the gold. And that's fantastic. We'll do a bit of a recap now just to show you how many tiers there are. But if you've enjoyed that, make sure you sub, because like I say, that makes the hair in my ears sort of go all prickly and makes me itch. But weirdly, I kind of like it. Anyway, check out the video that's on screen now. Don't forget to sub, like, and we will see you in the next one. And join us on some live streams. So we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.